What is up, guys? Eric here from EVM Productions, and I'm here to talk about UFC 297 and the results, etc. So, okay, first off, let me talk about how I felt about the decision, because obviously that's where the most controversy lies. Um, I actually felt in that last minute, just before they announced the decision, etc. I remember while they're slugging it out at that last minute when Sean was pushing it, I was like, Sean did do enough to steal this round. And I was screaming that Dricus need to push back if he wants to win this title. Now, remember, I'm doing that from a neutral perspective, like a fighting perspective. If it was me in his shoes, I would not have let him like get away with that last bit. But I do understand it's not that easy. So, boom, they read the decision. I remember in my head, I was like, holy cow, this could be a draw. Because this is so close that it can go either way. And it could also be a draw. And then, boom, Dricus won. Now, I was in a restaurant, a local one, and everybody went mad. It was crazy. Because if you guys don't know, I'm from South Africa. And everybody went nuts. Now, I was like, damn. And I really didn't think a lot of people would be upset about it. I thought people would be like, yeah, he could have aged it. I can see it. But no, there's a lot of controversy. And I suspect it's because of the media storm, the positive media storm that Sean Strickland caused in the week leading up to the fight via taking down that one reporter and everything. Because that was needed. I was behind him 100% there because we don't need people teaching the kids all kinds of stuff like this. It needs to be a thing where, well, as you grow older, you can decide if that is how you feel and that's the sexual connotation you want to have in your life. Anyway, back to the fight. So I think that Dricus edged it barely, barely. There's a lot of it saying that. Mighty Mouse made a video about it. Even the Weasel. I can't believe we are actually agreeing on something after a year or two of him having the weirdest takes on a lot of stuff. I said I'm going to look at some comments in the future, which I'm telling you guys ahead of time. I'm going to look at a few comments. I'm not going to say who commented it, but then I'm going to reply live on video so that people understand what I'm thinking and my retorts. And yeah, it will be there public for everybody to see and scrutinize if they want. Because a lot of the takes from fans and even analysts is a little bit weird. And because of that, I know even my own will seem weird to a lot of people. Anyway, I think it should have been a draw. I'm just going to be honest. And that at first I was like, no rematches. I'll talk about the rematches thing in a second. But I was like, no rematches. Please, we've been having trillion rematches every damn year of every damn fighter in almost any division. I'm tired of it. Me as a fan and many people as a fan, we are tired of it. However, this time it warranted because it was so close, we needed a decider. Only problem is if it sways the other way, it will lead into another rematch. So guys, it's really a thing of let it go and move on, and we dispute this for an infinite amount of time, or we do a rematch and then a rematch and then another rematch and another rematch until one day we're happy with what we see. I think like a rematch in this case really makes more sense, and I'll get into it now. So okay, the reason why I hate this rematch stuff is because, like with the Alex Pereira and Izzy stuff, Davison Figueiredo versus Moreno 4 times, even Conor versus Dustin was 2 times in less than a year, if I'm not mistaken, or a year and a half. Usman versus Edwards, the same thing. Imagine Usman won the second rematch and after the head kick. Like, it would be a perpetual motion like this. Same with all of these attempted rematches at light heavyweight and all these other weight classes. We need to pump the brakes on this. Like, really, guys, think about this ahead. Just say in your head that, yes, this fighter should have won, but we're fine with him not having the belt right now because he can get up to it later. Like, Sean Strickland really has the means to still beat most of the guys in the division and get back to that title. So I'll explain why. Okay, first off, wait, let's pause it there. Yes, the rematch makes sense this time. I'm just hoping that the next time we get a definitive answer then, if it happens. Boom. Everybody's happy because people's going to be mad that I'm saying, no, we don't need a rematch right now. Because I'll explain why. Reason why is we have a storyline with Israel that wants to get back for Sean and with Cannonier. Cannonier is arguably the only other guy that is in line for the belt. Like, I actually argue that he needs to get the shot right now, but a lot of people's going to moan about that. So, to get over that hump, why not make Sean versus Cannonier again to get to do a title eliminator? Then also, Dricus and Izzy has a timeline, a storyline. That is also cool. The only thing is, Izzy is not deserving of the title shot. Yes, some of the accolades he had before he lost the title twice does warrant that he can get the shot, but to me that doesn't weigh enough in this current situation because he lost so badly versus Sean. Like, he clearly outright lost that fight. And when he lost versus Pereira, kinda it was closer. So you see, the last fight he had, he lost. It wasn't like he barely lost, like with this decision with Sean and Dricus. It was he lost. So, because of that, I don't think he deserves to come back and fight for the belt. But a lot of people are like, okay, then let Hamzat fight Israel. Now, yes, that would sell a lot of tickets, but Hamzat also doesn't deserve anything in the top 10, in my opinion. Like, he needs to fight a top 15 guy just to be at middleweight legitimately, because he beat Usman barely, who isn't a middleweight. He didn't even beat a middleweight contender. Not a ranked one, not a middleweight contender at all. Like, that was Usman's first fight in the UFC at middleweight, so it doesn't count. So the best course of action would be rematch Sean and Dricus. I really think that is a better idea. Do it middle of the year, around there, so that both of them can really rest up, especially Sean with that eye. If he gets into the cage too quick, that thing's going to pop open over and over again, and he still won't be able to see, and it will be a crutch forever. Let him rest up, heal up. Dricus's face, he has cosmetic damage. Some ice, 2 weeks of ice, that probably will take get rid of that. I had a broken, what do they call this bone again? I forgot. I had a broken bone, and my eye was literally like a water balloon hanging over my eye because of a fight I had when I was 14. That took me a week to recover from. And I'm not a pro athlete. That's every time I use myself as an example, I always tell people, if I can come back from it, then a pro athlete can come back from it a lot better than even me. People get pissed off usually when I use that in a debate, but it's a very good starting point because I'm not a pro athlete. Pro athletes are way up there. Anyway, so yeah, Sean versus Dricus rematch. Israel versus somebody in the division. Now, if Israel is smart, he'll sit back and wait for the winner of Whittaker and Costa. If Costa shows up. See what I'm saying here? He could come in as the backup, and then he can fall in, and then, yeah. Or he can face Cannonier again, but then it will be another boring decision. Although, Cannonier really did put it on Sean to get that win. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be enough to beat Izzy. Even slightly older looking Izzy right now. So anyway, guys, I would say that is the way to go. Or the winner of Brendan Allen versus, who's he fighting? Vittori? Maybe Israel should fight that person and then fight for the belt, because at that point the belt would have been decided already. We would have had the rematch. And funny enough, this is the only time I would say the rematch makes a lot more sense, because other times it would be a rematch, then this other guy wins, and then it's another rematch, and another rematch, and another rematch. And it's just annoying to watch. And it's even worse if you take into account how people have been, our attention spans have been destroyed by social media in any way. Anyway, guys, with the other fights, um, I'm going to first off talk about Neil Magny winning versus Mike Malott, or Malott, how they say it. I was so happy for Neil Magny. Like, I remember when he was turning the tide a tiny bit, I was yelling. I was like, I don't care if my prediction is wrong, win. I like Neil Magny as a person. I really like that he's been the veteran pushing it on in the UFC. He could have retired a long time ago because of the amount of times he has lost to these strong contenders, and then feeding him to these contenders. He could have felt, yeah, man, I've been mistreated and I want to walk away. But he doesn't. He just keeps on fighting. And then he has moments like this. Like, it's crazy, guys. I wanted to talk about that first because I'm like, Neil Magny, I don't care that you destroyed my prediction. I really don't care. I'm happy for you. That was such a cool win. Like, really. And the way he won was awesome. Now I'm just hoping he can get another one or two. And then we can see a few other cool fights. Like, really, these kinds of veterans are the guys that are underappreciated, guys. We need to really... we need to show them and give them their flowers. Now, that one was one of the ones I took a L on. And then Mayra Bueno Silva, she screwed up the whole fight. I was looking at it, I was like, why isn't her coaches telling her? Okay, what? I remember, I should have made notes. Sorry, guys, it was like 5 a.m. 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm super tired. I don't remember everything that I haven't mentioned, but I remember the way she was clinching at some points, punching with her arms bent. She punches like this. You can see the chin is so open, and that's why Raquel was getting shots on her. If she learns to straighten her punches, basic boxing, like this is the most basic thing you get taught, is to extend so the shoulder hides your chin. If she even does that, then she's already set. She would have won that fight if she only done that and blocked a tiny bit when the punches came. Like, damn it, that was annoying. That and some of the sequences on the ground, and also her not fighting as smart with a gas tank, because clearly a gas tank was destroyed. If she fought a little bit smarter, then she would have won. Well, maybe. Yeah, that destroyed my other... When that happened, I was like, oh, damn it, I wanted to get 3 out of 5 at least. But I ended up getting 2 out of 5, if I'm not mistaken. I wrote that down at least. I ended up getting a horrible number again, just because of that. But, yeah, that was my bad. I didn't do enough homework on Mayra. I should have done more homework, and then I would have probably picked Raquel Pennington. What else? Just want to check. Oh, yeah, Brendan Allen. Damn it. See, guys, I'm a bit tired. Arnold Allen fight versus Movsar Evloev. I was correct in the end. A lot of people feel it was a robbery. I want to rewatch the fight just to check. Plus, the controversy on the downed opponent thing. Shit. Okay, so guys. Where's like a booklet or something I can use just to show my hands? I'm going to use this. Let's say this is the canvas. And my hand is sitting like this. Like this. You guys see? It's on the canvas. It's still on the canvas. And I'm getting kneed in the head. And technically, that is a foul. Then it is a foul. There's a certain few analysts who are saying that because the palm of the hand is lifted an inch, but the fingers are touching, it shouldn't have counted. There should have been dispute, and the fight should have continued in that position where Allen was landing knees on Movsar's head, because apparently he was so wobbled and bad, etc. He didn't look that badly wobbled, just his ear popped open. But, yeah, plus, I guarantee that, I think it was Mark Goddard who reffed that fight. I guarantee you guys that if anybody disputed him saying it was a downed opponent because of the fingers just touching, he would have said, F off out of my cage, the guy was a downed opponent. He would not have listened. I'm pretty sure that Dana White would have said the same. The list goes on. It's a real stretch saying he was not a downed opponent when he was touching the canvas. Like, guys, just because the rule said the palm of the hand doesn't mean that a tiny difference changes that. Now, yes, I do feel actually that knees to a downed opponent needs to be brought into the UFC. We've all been screaming that for years. However, and in this current moment, it would not have changed much of the fight. I'm pretty sure that when they got to the cage, that Mofsar was about to scramble out. Now, obviously, this is just speculation. I could be wrong, meh, but it doesn't change the current outcome in real life of the fight. Many times when we dispute all of these things, I tell people it doesn't matter in the long run because it doesn't change the literal outcome. So we can say whatever we want, but yeah. But one thing I think a lot of people missed on the decision of Allen versus Mofsar was that Allen got rocked. Now, guys, when I saw Allen was hanging his arm down and just moving like this, I was like, the left hook is going to come right on his chin, and he got rocked at one point badly. And I really think that and a few of the other strikes and wrestling is why Mofsar won, actually. Now, I'll rewatch the fight because a lot of people are saying, hey, it was a robbery. And I want to be sure because I remember I didn't keep as close an eye on this. I watched it loosely at that point. We were eating food and stuff. So I'm not going to lie and say I was looking at it like a bloody detective or so. But I did see that Mofsar caught him a few times with shots I think the judges saw as heavy damaging. I think a lot of the judges also didn't like the downed opponent knees thing. I think maybe, yeah. And then the wrestling, obviously, because the last few years I've been crying about it on my channel and in comment sections that takedowns have been scored a lot heavier than they should be the last few years. The last 3 years, I'd say. Ever since late 2020. Funny enough, just after Khabib retired, funny enough, that's when people were like, yeah, takedowns, man. Damn, a takedown is like 20 punches. So maybe I'll rewatch the fight and I'll give my opinion. Well, no, I'm not going to give my opinion on the channel. It's pointless. It doesn't change the outcome. Again. Anyway, guys, yeah, no. In the DDP fight, I just want to mention this. The takedowns made a lot more sense. Damn, I remember I was screaming at Dricus because if he wanted to secure those takedowns, there was a way he could have secured the takedowns a lot better and landed some ground and pound because he was not securing the legs a certain way. However, it's always easier said than done. When you're in there, it's a lot different. What other fights? Chris Curtis and Barry Holt. I was wrong there. I remember I was like, ay, because Barry Holt could have won that. He just really didn't have a good enough game plan, yada yada. That fight, like people said, was kind of boring, but it was fun to me to a degree because I like the technical side of things. Although it wasn't really that technical. Yeah, it was alright. I'll say it like that. What other fights? I love that Frankie Edgar got inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was awesome. And yeah, let's move on to the last part of this video. Hamzat and Ian Gary talking shit about the DDP situation, and asking for title shots, all that kind of crap. First off, Hamzat. Yeah, Hamzat first fight some contenders in the top 15. Nobody cares about everything else. We are bored and we are tired of this. It's seeming like a full-blown gimmick, just like Colby Covington and his gimmick the last while. And the worse your fights get, the worse it's going to get for you. And we as fans and analysts even, all of us are like, but we're not taking him seriously at this point, just like Dricus said, because he talks a lot of crap and then he has a hard fight. Talks a lot of crap and then he has a hard fight. Both of which could have been him losing. Like, I thought Usman won. I thought Burns won. I thought Burns won more convincingly than Usman. And most people feel that way as well. Now, that fight was much better, the one Burns versus Hamzat, but this does not mean he has a name so big, because he won those fights, that he can call the shots anyway. One, he's not fighting anytime soon, Like every time if something pops up, or he fights somebody a little bit lackluster for his name, and now the name's dropping, and then the gimmick of I smash everybody, like as if he was Khabib, is dying down. I remember when this started, as I said, I think people are hyping him up too quick, and they're building on top of Habib's name, not his, Habib's. And same with Islam. That's why when the Islam versus Volk fight first time happened, and people were so shocked that he got tested so hard, it dropped his stock quite a bit. And I remember I told people, like, you should stop comparing him to Habib. You should say he's his own person. He has his own level of hype, which is not Khabib's. He's not Habib at all. None of these guys are. There's not a single soul that is so dominant right now in the UFC that gives that same aura. These guys are not as good on the mic. They're not as charismatic in total. Not as interesting. Their fighting style's not as interesting. The list goes on. Like, really. Hamza needs to, first of all, be more authentic. And two, fight more often. Three, stop crying that you need a title shot and stuff. It's almost like he knows he's at the verge of retiring, and if he doesn't do this, he will get destroyed in other fights and his name would just fall off a cliff, which is already falling. He's free falling right now. Then Ian the Cuck Gary. Outside of his cuckery, he can fight. He clearly showed that with his performance versus Magny in comparison to his Mike's performance versus Gary. But him laughing at Strickland, blah, 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 it's kind of like, really? You should have said, props to Strickland. I know you've been an ass with me, but now the wheel has turned. Let's all move forward in all of our lives. You shouldn't have been like laughing and all that kind of stuff, because bad juju comes back. It comes back to you. So, yeah, and already the bad juju is clearly hitting him hard because of him getting sick before his fight, all of the jokes about his wife, wow. And then people really also feeling his gimmick is dying. Like, I like where our MMA state is right now, because we are all seeing through people's gimmicks. Yeah, we like guys who fight and who actually show that they can fight. We don't like this gimmick stuff anymore. And I like that. It means the sport wants more authenticity. And yeah, Ian Gary should just fight. Shush, fight. Both of these guys need to learn that. And yeah. Yeah, I talked about everything. So yeah, guys, I'm going to title this Talking with Eric. Well, talking about UFC 297. I'm going to say it like that. Only other news is just some stupid news about some boring fights at UFC 300. I'm sorry, guys. UFC 300 is looking like a stinker to me. Yeah, I'm not going to... That night, I really might just say I'm skipping this one and looking at the fights afterwards, seeing the results, and that's it. Because, damn, it's sounding horrible. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys about some other news in the future. Cheers.